Ms. Hutchinson, when you returned to the White House in the motorcade after the president's speech, where did you go?
When I returned to the White House, I walked upstairs towards the Chief of Staff's office, and I noticed Mr. Renato lingering outside of the office. Once we had made eye contact, he quickly waved me to go into his office, which was just across the hall from mine.
And while he was on the phone, I heard, as I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire. And I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire. And I didn't answer. I kept walking, and then I heard Empire. So I turned around and I said, did you just say to me? And I see the attacker masked, and he said, this MAGA country punches me right in the face. So I punched his ass back. And then we started tussling. You know, it was very icy, and we ended up tussling by the stairs. Fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back. And then it just stopped.
When I went in, he shut the door, and I noticed Bobby Engel, who is the head of Mr. Trump's security detail, sitting in a chair, just looking somewhat discombobulated and a little lost. I looked at Tony, and he had said, did you effing hear what happened in the Beast? I said, no, Tony, I just got back. What happened? Tony proceeded to tell me that when the president got in the Beast, he was under the impression from Mr. Meadows that the off-the-record movement to the Capitol was still possible and likely to happen, but that Bobby had more information. So once the president had gotten into the vehicle with Bobby, he thought that they were going up to the Capitol, and when Bobby had relayed to him, we don't have the assets to do it, it's not secure, we're going back to the West Wing. The president had a very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now.
And they ran off, and I saw where they ran. And the phone was in my pocket, but it had fallen out, and it was sitting there, and my manager was still on the phone. So I picked up the phone, and I said, Brandon, and he's like, what's going on? And I said, I was just jumped. And then I looked down, and I see that there's a rope around my neck.
To which Bobby responded, sir, we have to go back to the West Wing. The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol. Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Renato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
Sweetie, they're not gonna find him. That just made me so angry, because, so I'm just gonna be left here with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna be left here with like, so they get to go free and go about their life and possibly attack someone else, and I'm here left with the aftermath of this bull? That's not cool to me.
Cassidy Hutchinson's lawyer filed a 15-page correction to her 4 or 5 interviews, depositions that she gave to the committee. We need to see that too. You know whose transcript is missing?
Hold it. Whoa. What do you mean? Hang on first a second. Cassidy Hutchinson, and this is why the committee was a joke, because they didn't have a ranking member and you didn't have minority counsel. This is why Watergate and these other ones took a different direction, because you get to look at the evidence and you get to cross-examine the witness. Cassidy Hutchinson wouldn't be out there talking smack like she talked. How do we know that? Steve Bannon, why are you picking on poor Cassidy Hutchinson? Because she put a 15-page, what is it? Errata. Yeah, changing her testimony. Correct, ma'am? Refining it.
That's correct. Right. And so these aren't little, to your point, okay, I misspoke here, or I meant to say this, or I got off track and I wanted to go down here. 15 pages of corrections We need to see what she corrected. And furthermore, Steve, there's no reason for us to trust the written transcripts. We know how this committee lied. We know how it misrepresented the facts of what happened on January 6th. We know that Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, these are some of the biggest liars in Congress. We're supposed to just trust the written transcripts that the committee produced. We don't know that they've been edited, so you can compare the actual video recording with what they have published. Do you know whose transcript is still missing to this day? Bobby Engel, Donald Trump's security detail chief. He is the one that Cassidy Hutchinson claimed Donald Trump tried to strangle on January 6th when he would not take him to the Capitol. We still don't have that transcript. So, and this is just what we publicly know that Representative Loudermilk, to his credit, has uncovered and tried to get an explanation from the chairman of that committee, Benny Thompson, as to why all of these records are now missing.
I don't know if she was technically under oath in this testimony, but can Cassidy Hutchinson be prosecuted for perjury, and should Trump sue for defamation?
Yes to both. Look, Cassidy Hutchinson and the select committee for January 6th knew she was not a first or second-hand witness, meaning she didn't see it, she didn't hear it, and she said she talked to people who talked to people about the situation in the car, and that's what she was testifying to. That's not even hearsay. That's so far removed that there is no definition for that kind of information. No prosecutor would use it. And whether or not you receive a swearing in Congress, every witness receives an admonishment. And the reason that's important is you can now be charged and prosecuted for what we call 1001. Lying to federal officials. You don't need to be sworn in for that to have happened. You just need the admonishment. And every witness that I've ever known to go in before Congress receives that admonishment.
No, I would just like to say to Your Honor that I am not suicidal. That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
I am not suicidal. I am innocent, and I am not suicidal. If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. And you must all know that. I respect you, Your Honor. I respect your decision. Jail time. I am not suicidal.
Okay.